Hi, come on in.
Have you ever been to a treehouse village? Chris and I have never stayed at one before, but we always wanted to. So when we noticed an open spot to stay here, we immediately booked it.
When I showed up, I was so happy to be here, so excited to try this out. When you walk in, you walk in the day and you see all the lighting about to happen, and so you can't wait till the evening when the lights actually come on, because you see them all along the walkway and the rope lighting on all of the wooden platforms and the stairs and on the boardwalks, right under the boardwalks. It's all lit up.
So we get up here, and first of all, it is like a fairy tale walking up here. I mean, you see all these adorable little cabins, you see the fun little like bridges that are suspended, these fun networks of ropes and nets, and all these twinkling lights. We've got a bunch of rope lights that are in this boardwalk, and it's just so beautiful and like cozy and whimsical and we come up the stairs and we see this beautiful structure and we get to hang out in our hammocks, and I just immediately felt so excited to be here. This was my first time in any sort of like treehouse village, so I didn't really know what to expect, but it's beautiful and we had a great time. I mean, it's definitely a glamping experience, so if you are trying to get out into like a more survival experience, this isn't going to be for you. But if you are down for a glamping experience and just have something like novelty, this is perfect.
We had an amazing time sleeping in our DIY hammocks and exploring the trails and forests of the park.
You really want all this stuff in the way looking at it.
What's that?
I'll put these along them.
But of course, it wouldn't be a Geartivity video without a fun make your own gear sewing challenge. For this challenge, we had just 30 minutes to design and make our own athletic sleeves. We brought sewing supplies, stretchy fabric, and of course, our favorite travel-ready sewing machines.
The project is to make some arm sleeves, stretchy arm sleeves that runners wear, boaters wear, football players wear, soccer players. It stretches the gamut of sports. So we want to make some so we can wear them. Here we have a bag with all of our material for our next project. And all of this material is 4-way stretch, like the material you would wear on a bathing suit. So bathing suit type 4-way stretch. Some of this, however, is not 4-way. This here is a 2-way stretch. So it's stretchy this way, but not stretchy this way. So if I put this down and I put it on 4 and pull, it's a good there's about 3 inches there of stretch. Okay, now this also is the same as the blue, where it won't stretch much this way, but if you turn it this way, it stretches a lot. Has some metallic woven into it. It doesn't want to go that way. This one has a lot of stretch that way, but then it curls a little bit too.
3 minutes on the clock. This is hard to press. There we go.
I wanted stretchy 4-way knit sleeves. I'm thinking I'm going to use about 17 inches. I just measured my arm. However, I pick out, for some unknown reason, the stripe material, thinking, oh, that's kind of groovy.
Are you using cubits?
I'm like, what?
Like, you know what I'm talking about, like ancient measurement systems? Oh, I'm distracting you, sorry.
Okay. Was that intended on purpose?
No. But
okay.
it was a fun distraction.
All right. So, yes. So 12.
This is why I love it. This is so much fun. I love being behind the camera. It's so fun.
Okay. So Amelia's annoying me here. No, not really. I'm thinking that I want the stretch to be around this way. So it stretches with your big biceps. Pump you up. Okay, so I'm going to cut in the middle of this. I got to do the same with this. I'll use this as my pattern. Okay, I can't go back now. I'm going to choose some woolly nylon thread. Mine comes like this. I don't remember the maker of this. You just have to go to the store and find woolly nylon. So this is what it looks like close up. And so I have to kind of twist it to make it to go through. This woolly nylon thread is stretchy, and you can use the bobbin full of it, and your other thread can be normal. It'll give it a little bit of stretch for stretchy fabrics. Ideally, you want it, and I put the woolly nylon in the top bobbin, which it should go in the bottom. Ideally, you'd want a serger for this kind of material. Serger is by far the better choice of machine to use on this, or a zigzag, but we are stuck with a straight stitch machine. I will match the stripes. Let me turn it this way so you can see the stripes. I am now putting the first seam in down the length of the arm. That went right. That just didn't. Let me loosen this top thread a little bit more because it is stretchy. Yep, I broke it. I'm going to try regular black thread, see if we have the same problem. It's probably the needle. It's probably a woven needle, not a ballpoint. If it's a needle, neither thread will work. Okay, I'm going to test this. Right away, I cut it wrong. This is too big. Isn't that lovely?
Perfection.
I'm thinking, I am such a failure. And what am I thinking? I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm thinking. My thinking is out the window. But we continue on. I need to cut that way back. Okay, and then I want to come down to about...
Oh yeah, just stick your whole arm in there.
This is horrifying. So I'm going to have to take it in about 4 inches.
It's a running sleeve with an angel like belt cut.
Oh, fantastic.
To run, but then also sing gospel songs later. You've got the perfect sleeve.
Because this whole hammock adventure kind of blows my mind. It's really like, it is so awesome. But my sewing right now is not awesome. Our lighting is quickly going away, and I'm trying to be as fast as possible to get this done. I think I started sewing my sleeve in the wrong direction, and which means I cut it out in the wrong direction because I wanted this stretchy to go around my arm and not run up and down my arm. And that is what this is doing. I traded the upper thread for the bobbin thread. So the stretchy nylon is in the bobbin where it should have been in the first place. That is much better. And I am thinking I'm almost done. I just have to cut off this edge. No. Oh, what? You don't know how to count? Oh. Oh, no. I hope I don't cut over I can't see my seam here. I might cut my seam off. I changed out to 2 regular cotton threads. I ditched I ran out of the woolly nylon thread in the bobbin, and I didn't want to take the time to do any more up. The edges are ragged for now. They're a ragged look. It's a relief. We're done. I'm done with the project. I've got 2 sleeves. They're workable. I'm gonna flip out of this.
All right, let's do the arms. Iconic. Perfection.
Ow. Nice shoes would be nice in this.
Yeah.
Nice. On to dinner.
This. Perfect.
Once we took a little walk after dinner, we got to see a bunch of deer and the lake, and that was just a really calming experience, and it was very peaceful, and I really enjoyed that. The fresh air was exactly what I felt that I needed from a break from work and filming videos and editing, and it was just really nice to slow down and feel that peace. And we saw a bunch of deer, and it was so cool walking through these woods, and it was like dark, and there's twinkling lights from the Treehouse village ahead of us. I was walking through some sort of like magical elf world. I just loved it. It made me feel like I was in like the Lord of the Rings or something.
Cute. All right, it is currently 6:17 in the morning. Come on. Hey. Morning. It's time to get up. It's 6:17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I have to?
Yeah. So we can get an early start.
No.
This was my home. This was my little bed. Here's my little burrito. It was more comfortable than I thought it was going to be. I'll just say that.
Oh.
I'm a side sleeper, so hammocks are not like my fave, but it wasn't bad. The temperature was perfect. So I am cooking us breakfast. We're gonna do some veggies and meat. And Chris is playing around. Look at her being silly. Little silly goose.
I had a blast. And inside those tube cargo nets to climb up, they have some seats so you can rest. It's so magical here, even in the more early morning hours. Everything's lit up, sun's just about to rise. It's after 6 in the morning, and it's very quiet. People are still sleeping because a lot of them were around the fire last night doing roasted marshmallow s'mores, and that was great fun. So here we are up at the perch. And look at that, there's a net.
I've crawled up into the place where you get into the perch, and you have to crawl up this cargo net. There's a seat. There's two seats in here on the way up. So I'm sitting in one right now, and I am going to climb up and over the rim and lay down in this netting right here, way above I'd say about maybe 8 to 10 feet above the tent platform below. So here I go. Hopefully we'll get this in. Woohoo! It's all open trees from above, sky, beautiful.
You ready?
Yeah.
Or just jump?
Yeah, I'm ready. All right, so 30 minutes.
Because of our lighting situation, I actually had to start after Chris. While starting out, I thought that I was gonna sew this no problem in 30 minutes. I mean, it's just like literally 3 seams. I mean, you're just doing your length, your arm length, and then just hems around, right? So I was like, this is going to be a breeze. In 30 minutes, we've got no problems. But we also know from experience with these machines that you just never know when something could go wrong. These machines are definitely not professional grade and they're pretty fickle. So we were like, let's give ourselves 30 minutes to allow for things to go wrong, right? And that's exactly what happened.
For my sleeves, I want to do a bright color. I want to do the pink and green. So I'm going to do the pink and then I'm going to do this green, but I'm going to cut the pink out of this stuff because I have enough of this. That being said, I'm going to use this to measure around my arm so I know the width here because we forgot a tape measure. So it's going to be roughly like that. And I'm just going to mark. So it looks like it's about halfway-ish. And this is just so that it fits around my wrist better. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from this corner and go to this mark that I have. And then I'm going to make a diagonal line and I'm going to sew down that line. And that way, when we put it on, we'll have more of that sleeve shape. You can see that. Okay, so now we've got 2 sleeves and let's sew them up. And I'm just using like regular cotton thread. I'm not going to try the woolly stuff. Oh, stopped sewing for some reason. I wonder if it is the needle. You might be right. So I don't know if you guys can see this, but because we don't have the proper needle, it's not sewing through this stretchy stuff. You need to have a ballpoint needle because this is a really stretchy knit type of fabric and we just have like a regular like woven needle, and so it's the wrong kind of needle. And unfortunately, we didn't bring any extra needles with us, otherwise we would just change it out. But we're thinking that the reason Chris was able to sew hers is because it has it's not just pure stretch, it's got some other materials in it, and it's not quite as stretchy. It's a little bit more like a woven material. Whereas this, I mean, this like 4-way stretch, it's like high stretch right here. Same thing with even this one, even though it's only 2-way, it's still like just purely stretchy material. There's really no structure to it.
We had threads breaking. The machines weren't actually sewing because we didn't have the right needles. We had universal needles that just came with these machines, and we needed ballpoint needles because of the fact of how stretchy this material is, and so it just wasn't sewing. And that was pretty frustrating because we actually had to go out to Walmart and buy those needles, and so we actually had to pause the challenge. And I just stayed here and just did some cleaning and some journaling, and that was actually pretty nice. While Chris graciously went out and got some needles for us.
I went shopping.
Yeah, she got the right needles for us.
Cling to the truck. And I need to go into town. I need to go back into town. Quick jaunt into town. It's not far. We decided that we would try and go in and get some needles and that we can finish this project.
Trip to Walmart was uneventful. It's a Monday morning, so people are out running around. Construction workers are getting to work. Everyone is out getting to work on a Monday morning.
But it was, at first it was frustrating because I was like, I don't want to pause this challenge. We only have a limited time of being here and I want to get this done so we can go mountain biking and have some fun. But because I was forced to sit and think, it was kind of nice. I got some like journaling done, I read some poetry, and I even organized camp a little bit. So it ended up being a nice little staycation. So it worked out. But once we got the ballpoint needle on, the machine started to sew again, and I was like, great, let's get this done. I was hyped up again.
Changed out the universal needle for the ballpoint needle. Hopefully that will make it so that we can actually sew this stuff, and we'll give it a test and see. We're thinking it might be the needle just because of the type of material that we're using. Okay.
An upside down sewing machine.
Cool. So now our threads are way too long, but I'm just gonna move on.
Roll.
Seems to be working. Oh. Oh, I think it got caught on this thread. Hold on. Yeah, it did. It sewed in this thread for some reason. I don't think that's not really the machine's fault. That's like my fault. It got,
Because the thread was so long.
yeah, it was so long it got caught in. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. And yeah, it's sewing now. So yeah, it was the needle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It was worth the trip to Walmart.
Yeah, look at that.
Get new needles.
For our green sleeve.
Isn't that amazing? Just a needle change for the type of fabric that you know.
And let's see if it sews through this stuff, the 4-way stretch. And look at that, it does. Sews beautifully. So now I've got a little bit of time left. I've got about 6 minutes left. So I am going to try to sew a hem.
Nice.
Yeah. Since I've got the time. There we go.
And a good running machine.
Yeah. So for this hem, I'm just going to tuck the bad edges over, and I'm just going to do like, that looks like a 1/2 inch roughly. I'm just going to kind of eyeball a 1/2 inch on each side and go with it. And let's see if it can do, it might be a race to the finish, but I think I can do it. I guess it's more like 5/8 of an inch. Oop. Almost broke the needle there. Oop. Yeah, I don't want to break this needle, so it's kind of bending this needle, so I don't want to.
Why is it doing that? Is the tension too?
I think it's just because of the way that I'm sewing with this. Like, I think I'm just kind of pulling on this too much.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm just going to leave it like that. I didn't get all the way to the end, but I also didn't want to break this needle. And I think with the way that I was sewing it, because it doesn't have like a real tongue, it was just kind of pulling on this needle. And so I just decided to just leave it. And because of that, I think I'm not going to do this other side because, again, I don't want to break the needle.
Unfortunately, because the tongue of our sewing machine isn't really right for these sleeves, and because of where we were sewing, the material was actually tugging on the needle, and so it was starting to bend and catch on the feed dog mechanism, and I didn't want to break the needle, right? I was like, we just bought this thing, I don't want to break it. So I just thought, you know what, we only have a minute left, I'm gonna call it, and it's just gonna be what it is, right? It's gonna be what it's gonna be.
I mean, as far as like the actual fit goes, that's like perfect. It does need to be a little longer, but the fit itself is right. Like, that's tight to me.
We had highs and lows, right? It was a little bit frustrating, and at the same time, I wasn't really surprised because, again, these aren't even the right machines to be sewing this type of material and this type of project. Really, you do need some sort of stretchy type of seam, right? So you need either like a zigzag or like a serge stitch, something that will allow for the fabric to have that flexibility. A basic running stitch, it's just not going to work for that. It's going to break the threads because it doesn't have that ability to stretch.
So, first of all, I want to thank you, viewers, for coming to Geartivity and watching us as we do crazy things with sewing machines, sewing different fabrics, getting different thoughts about how to make something that sometimes we see every day in the stores and we don't think about possibly making it ourselves. And we think we have to buy it from a store. And we don't necessarily. We can make it and make it the way we want it. I mean, just add whatever we want to it, bling it out, not bling it out. It's yours. It's your own creativity. And that's what I love for all of you creatives out there to really get your hands in this, get the feel of these fabrics, and just get to work on making things that you can use for whatever type of outdoor activity imaginable. And so, as you do, and if you get inspired, please share with us what you've made and how it goes.
Okay, first of all, this is not just a fashion statement. I somehow lost the pink one I sewed in between testing them and putting everything away from our camp. So she's a one-armed wonder. She's looking great. She's having a great time. But so I'll give you guys a close-up of what it looks like. And show. You guys can see that. Yeah. So, I mean, the fit-wise, it's not bad at all. Obviously, the four-way stretch worked perfectly. I would absolutely make it longer, and I would, put in the hem, put in the proper elastic, things like that. I even considered putting in like a thumb hole, but I thought better of it, and I didn't do that. I just did it straight, and it's it's a prototype of a prototype. Yeah, that's good.
I got the sparkle going on.
Looks good. I mean, they seem like they actually worked pretty well. As far as like covering your arms go, they seem to be like the right size.
Yeah.
The right length and everything. So what did you think about them when you were riding? Like anything you noticed? Was there any like weird rubbing, any weird fit?
No. They were starting to slide just a little bit down.
Yeah.
Not bad. Doable. Definitely doable.
Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay.